Here is the Caribbean Princess. My name's Terry, and my wife Lidia and I just recently had a beautiful 10-day cruise on this ship. Today we will take you on a full deck-by-deck tour. While we go on this tour, I will mention some of the things that we really enjoyed about this ship, a couple of items that I think are worth noting that weren't our favorites compared to other ships, and finally one item in our room that was humorously not something I cared for. The Caribbean Princess was built in 2004, refurbished in 2024. It carries 3,140 passengers, 1,200 crew, and weighs in at 113,000 tons. Here's the floor plan for the first relevant deck, which is Deck 4, the Medical Center. Next is Deck 5 Plaza. Besides the staterooms and moving from front to back, we have the Fine Art Gallery. From there, we're moving into the main atrium area that they call the Piazza. The Piazza is the hub of the activity of the ship. It spans the 5th, 6th, and 7th floors. This is Vine's Wine Bar. And then we have the Shops of Princess. These shops are located in different areas on the 5th, 6th, and 7th floor, and then the Internet Cafe and Library. I used the Internet Cafe to print boarding tags for our next cruise. This was actually the third of 4 cruises we did over a 60-day period. My wife and I travel quite a bit. I did notice that I couldn't use a USB device on their computers. I had to just get things from online to print. This is the Piazza. This is the main level of the Piazza. On the 6th and 7th floors, you're basically viewing this area and visiting the shops up around. We'll see that in a minute. It's beautiful here. We like this design. We like that it's big and open and there's a lot of activity going on. You get to see people. Lydia and I love to travel, and we share our adventures here on our channel, Lydia's World. We have a good time. Continuing on Deck 5 is the International Cafe right here on the Piazza. The food is free 24 hours a day, which means that the pastries, sandwiches, salads, and snacks are complimentary. Now, some of the specialty coffees, teas, and premium desserts are extra unless you have purchased a specialty package. Everything looks good. And then we've got the Good Spirits at Sea Bar. Next is the Island Dining Room. This is one of 3 main dining rooms. The other 2 are the Coral and the Palm dining rooms. These Ocean Compass touchscreens are located around the ship, especially around elevators and stairwells, and they help people find their route to where they want to go next. Up next is Deck 6 Fiesta. This is the lower level of the Princess Theater. Here tucked away is Churchill's Cigar Lounge. And then we've got the Crown Grill, which is a premium steakhouse. It's a specialty restaurant. We'll go take a look here. Outside of Crown Grill is the Shore Excursion Desk. If you haven't booked your excursions already, you can go during the posted hours and get those all arranged. The People are real friendly there. And then you've got the guest services desk and more shops of Princess. Just behind the piazza area is the Coral Dining Room. This is another one of the standard dining rooms on the ship. They're all very nice. We went to pretty much all of them. And then at the rear of the ship is the Palm Dining Room. Now, this one's a little harder to reach. It's not actually hard, but deck 6 does not go all the way through. So you have to use the stairwell to get down to that restaurant or a couple small elevators. So if you have mobility issues, it's something to consider. On deck 7 Promenade, we have the main area of the Princess Theater. This theater was a really good size. Oh, there's some folks that we know from eating with them in the evenings. It's always fun to be on these ships and meet new people. And from the theater, we can go directly into the Grand Casino. This place was really big. Heading out to the piazza section of deck 7 where there's more shops. Views of the whole piazza. And Crooner's Bar. This really was probably the busiest section of the whole ship here on deck 7, around the piazza atrium area and these bars and shops. This was one of the reasons that it was so busy, was the Explorer's Lounge. In the evenings, they had a lot of games and trivia and fun times here, and it would get packed. So if you want to come to the shows that are here in the middle of the ship and have fun, like Perfect Couple Game Show, you better get there early. Now, as we walk down deck 7, we come to the Wheelhouse Bar. Like a lot of other places on the ship, like Crooner's Bar that we just passed, they have live entertainment here in the back. And right next door is Sabatini's Italian Specialty Restaurant. Pasta. And as we leave there, go into the back of the ship, we go through the photo gallery area. And last but not least on deck 7 is Club Fusion. In Club Fusion, we would go there in the evenings to watch the comedians, do some dancing, and other entertainment that they had on the stage. Deck 7 also has the walking lap all the way around the ship, but there's a couple things I would like to mention. One is it's a thinner section to walk on than most ships have. And the other is that you end up one end of the ship, you've got to go up some stairs, go around the back, and then back downstairs. So if you have knee issues, something like that, you might just have to go to one end and then loop back, kind of like a horseshoe. On this ship, decks 8 through 14 have the passenger cabins. I will mention that on most of these decks, they do have self-service laundry, so that comes in handy. On deck 15, Lido deck, there's a lot going on. First, we've got the Salty Dog Grill. You can get your hamburgers and hot dogs here. Then you've got the Mix Bar and Slice Pizzeria. They have complimentary poolside fresh baked pizza. Next, we come across Neptune's Pool, complete with hot tubs. Then we have Coffee and Cones, free soft serve ice cream with other paid options for coffee and specialty desserts. And then the Calypso Pool with the movie screen. Here's the World Fresh Marketplace Buffet, one of the most important places on the ship. I filmed this tour early in the morning because it takes a long time to film, and I didn't want too many people around. And during lunch and dinner, it's pretty busy. So I got here early and filmed breakfast. But we always found lots and lots of really good options in the Princess Buffet. This was really good. I'm going to mention one thing about seating in the buffet, and that is it's always, sometimes it's a challenge to find seating. We didn't find it to be that much of a challenge, which was great. But I do want to mention that there were times where, for some reason, there was a real vibration when you were sitting in the buffet. I don't know if we were sitting over some motors or what it was, but there were a few times I could just feel a gentle vibration that was noticeable to me. So I'm mentioning it to you. Steamer Seafood. Now, this is a seafood restaurant that carries an extra fee of $12 a person in the evenings, but for breakfast, they've got free complimentary options. And the same with Plank's Barbecue. They also have a fee in the evening. Um, their breakfast is also complimentary, and if you want an omelet, this is the place you go to get your omelet made in the morning. Both Steamers and Plank's Barbecue are also good spots to find overflow seating for the buffet. If you want, you can also go outside and find seating and have a beautiful view out here by the terrace pool. Life at sea, it's beautiful. And on deck 16, the sun deck, we start out in the fitness center. On this ship, they had an amazing amount of treadmills, and they all had a great view from the bow of the ship. Then you've got the Lotus Spa. The Lotus Spa has a beauty salon, thermal spa. It's got the lap pool out here. Then you've got on deck 16 the deck space overlooking the pools and the movie screens. And then you have the youth center locations for different ages. Deck 17, the sports deck. On this deck, you have the sanctuary where you can rent cabanas. The Princess Links, which is pretty simple. It's basically a putting green. A splash pool for the kiddos. And the Reef Bar Pool and Hot Tub. And as you can tell, they have a lot of lounge chairs all over the ship. On deck 18, the sky deck, it overlooks the pool area. Got the center court sports area. And you've got the entry bridge to deck 19. Which is Skywalker's Nightclub on deck 19. This is for ages 18 and up and over 21 after 10 p.m. So if you like to party, this is where you can come. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there was a few things we were going to discuss. One is that we like to travel and we do videos about our travel. Hope you enjoyed this one. But also there were some things we liked about the ship, some things that we, had concerns about. But there's one more that I had promised about our room that I haven't told you yet. And that is that when we get rooms, we usually try to go as cheap as possible and get inside rooms. This is an example of an inside room on this ship. This one was actually on the Ruby Princess that we'd had previously, but it's a nice room. It had plenty of space for us. It had a good closet space back here with the safe and some more shelves. And then the bathroom, and the bathrooms are always small, but that's the way cruise ships are, and it's plenty. We like inside rooms. We like that it's cheap. Sometimes we get a different kind of room that's a little bit bigger if the money makes sense. But in this case, this was the room on this ship, and it's just something to think about. They had these bunk beds that would come down, but it gave you very little headroom. And I'm telling you, look how thin that is when you get out of bed. So the whole story is the first night I hit my head twice getting out of bed. The good news is I didn't forget after that night, but I was pretty careful after that. Just figured I'd go ahead and throw in that story. Well, if you got this far in the video, you made it to the end. We really appreciate that. We like to make these videos. We love to travel. If you haven't yet done it, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, we'd appreciate it. Love to hear about your travels. If you could make the comments, and if you have any suggestions for our videos when we do the ship tours or the tours about our travels, please let us know. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us here today.